That's right. We were designed to sleep every day. Did you know that every living thing sleeps? Tiny insects, huge whales, little tiny pets, giraffes, they all sleep. Good sleep is very important, especially for boys and girls, because as you sleep, your body grows. Your muscles, your bones, and skin not only grow, but they repair or fix any kind of injuries you may have. And sleep is important to keep your immune system working so you can fight the germs that make you sick. Like you learned a few nights ago, your immune system has soldier cells that fight germs and bacteria. But did you know that just losing 3 hours of sleep in one night will lower the ability of your soldiers by half? So you'll tend to get sick more often. Sleep is so important for our health that if we don't get enough sleep, we are more at risk of getting sick with cancer, obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, and even death. That's because when you sleep, your brain sorts out everything you've learned during the day, and you're able to remember the things better, pay attention, and concentrate. Most importantly, when you sleep well, you can make better choices, and you're able to think clearly and to solve more problems. Because you kids are growing and developing more than some adults, you need sleep more than your grandparents or parents. And that's why babies sleep so much, because they're growing the fastest. A lot of us, and a lot of times, you may not think you're tired. You may resist going to bed. But that's because most children get hyperactive. That means excessively active when they're not getting enough sleep. So like for preschoolers from 3 to 5 years old, they should be probably getting 10 to 13 hours of sleep every day. School-age children, 16 to 13. It's recommended that they should get 9 to 11 hours a day. Well, I have a good sleep pillow case that has the answer to the question you kids can help me by reaching into the pillowcase and pulling out one item that has something to do with how we can have a great night's sleep.
Hi boys and girls, I'm Dr. Trust, and today we're going to be learning about how trusting in God is important. Trusting in God is what really gives power to all the other doctors. When you trust in God, He will help you to follow what you've learned from the other doctors so you can have a healthy and happy life, not just here on this earth, but in heaven and forever too. That's absolutely right. How many of you trust your parents to take care of you? Do you worry that they will not take care of you? So when you trust, you don't worry, you don't get anxious or stressed out. The same way you learn to trust a friend. You spend time with them and get to know them. The way to spend time with God and get to know Him is to read and study His Word, the Bible, listen to Bible stories, and talk to Him in prayer, just as you would talk with a friend. Do you remember the first time you learned to ride a bike? Let me tell you a story about a little girl. We'll call her Amanda. She was so excited because she was now riding her bike without training wheels. She felt like a big girl now that she could ride like her big brother. One day, the family was going to go on a bike ride around the neighborhood. This was going to be Amanda's first long ride without the training wheels. They started the ride and had great fun, but as they turned to the corner on their way back home, Amanda stopped and put her feet on the ground. She looked in front of her and saw she was at the top of a big hill. She was so afraid. The rest of the family was halfway down the hill when they noticed Amanda wasn't coming. Mom rode back up the hill. "What's wrong, Amanda?" "I can't go down that hill," Amanda cried. "You can do it. You know how to use your brake. How about I hold your seat of your bike as you ride down just to the tree over there?" Amanda knew that Mom loved her and she wouldn't let go of her seat, so she agreed. She wobbled a little at first, but then she started gaining more confidence with her mom by her side and made it safely down to the tree. She heard the rest of the family encouraging her, and she had fun again as she went down the rest of the way. So, boys and girls, this is a little picture of how we learn to trust God. Like Amanda, the more we trust Him with the little things, the easier it will be to trust Him with the bigger things. And even though she was very afraid, Amanda knew that her mom would stay right by her side and wouldn't let go of her bike.
Hi kids, my name is Isaac, and I wanted to tell you about a story about my father and me. This story is about trusting in God, and you'll learn about trusting in God in the Hill Station tonight. I love my dad so much. For many years, Mom and Dad had no children, but one day, while they were pretty old, God spoke to Dad and told him that he was going to be the father of a great nation. And God asked him to look up at the night sky and told him that just as many stars couldn't be counted, his descendants would be that many. For years, after that promise, Mom and Dad still had no children, but God did finally fulfill that promise, and I was born. They were so happy. I remember growing up, my dad and I did everything together. Especially, we would go on trips to offer sacrifices to God. So we would take our lamb and wood for the fire. We'd travel for a few days, offer the sacrifice, and return home. One night, when I was a young man, God tested my dad's faith in a crazy way. God told Dad to offer me as a sacrifice. This was the biggest test of our lives. I, of course, did not know this at the time. Dad woke me up in the middle of the night, and we started our trip. I noticed Dad was particularly quiet during our journey, but I didn't think much of it. After 3 days, we were getting close to our destination, and suddenly I realized we had not brought a lamb to sacrifice. I asked Dad, and he said, God will provide. That was a good answer for me, because I fully trusted in my dad. Finally, we arrived, but then I was utterly shocked and terrified when Dad told me that God told him that I was the sacrificed. I could have easily run away, but I knew that Dad knew that God's voice because he had always listened and trusted God. And I know that my dad loves me, and I could totally trust him. So I laid down on the altar as Dad lifted the knife. God stopped him and provided a lamb. You can imagine how joyfully and emotionally we hugged each other. I hope you all learn to trust God like my dad. Abraham and I, we showed that we were willing to let go of the things we love the most, to follow God and trust that he will direct our lives and take care of us.